Good evening, everyone. This is Candy B83 again, and tonight I actually had a video in mind that I was going to do about the love languages, but unfortunately I have not gathered that material. So tonight I wanted to go over insecurities in relationships. I know there's billions of videos out there on YouTube about insecurities and all of that jazz. So today is more, well, this evening is more so a discussion about, I guess, my experience and how I went through a relief of the fact that I realized there's no need for it. In the sense of, not being, insensitive to the fact that, people naturally have insecurities in relationships on both sides of the gender plane. But more so of the fact that it's really easy to begin comparing yourself, real easy to begin, wondering who you are in the sense of trying to use somebody else as saying, okay, yeah, I'm not pretty like this person, or, at least I'm not as ugly as that person. That's just examples of stuff on the surface. But I went through a recent course. So it wasn't really recent, maybe about 3.5 years ago, going on 4 now. I did a study on the book of Esther. It was actually an extended Bible study on Esther, where it broke down each chapter and what the person of Esther was doing in relation to how she was, getting with the king and everything like that. So anyway, as I was studying that word study, the person that went through the study was Beth Moore. She was instructing the study. You guys are free to, Google that study. Definitely it's a great course, particularly for women, because it teaches us how to interact with men, how to relate to them, and to use the term, I guess, play the position, because a lot of, people nowadays say, oh, that's played out, whatever. And it's not really played out so much as it's just not popular anymore, especially with the feminism movement, to say, oh, I'm going to treat my man like a king, but he's not acting like one. So what? You are what you think anyway, so if you treat him like that, he's going to act like what you're treating him as. Otherwise, that's just a person that's easily influenced anyway. That I don't even want to get into that. So it's more so I think about how a person treats themselves, because that I think happens with maturity. But those that are still trying to figure that out, they might need somebody to kind of treat them to a point where, okay, I need to empower myself, because that can go both ways too, I guess. Obviously I took my glasses off because of glare, and that can be distracting. The reason why I brought up the Esther thing is because in Psalm chapter 91, I think verse 1, it describes how we cannot live in another person's shadow. I want to say it's verse 1. I do have to put my glasses back on for this. There it is. It says, Psalm 91 verse 1 says, he who dwells, or she who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So, what that says, especially ladies, you not have to live in another person's shadow, especially another woman's shadow. You can have your own sense of self-worth by staring in the mirror and saying, this is who I am. I love me. I love who God created me as, period. I mean, it also says in, I want to say it's chapter 134, later on in the same book of Psalms, just stating that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So, with that said, we break down fearfully in terms of respect. I mean, if we don't respect ourselves and we don't look at ourselves in wonder and awe enough to say, hey, I love how I was created, then how in the world do you expect to have a relationship with someone that you're trying to do the same thing but you haven't done it yourself? Might want to practice there, buddy. Anyway, that's my take on this. Is part 2 of my relationship series. I'm sure I'm going to come up with a good title along the lines of respect. I'll go with that. Yeah. At any rate, look, I would say that I've been recently revisiting that study, that Esther study, because it has been such a tremendous encouragement for me. She had a bunch of adversity against her, considering everybody that, was in the city, like, who is this? Like, who is she to try to take over? And she did not really have that attitude. But again, I would encourage you to get your own opinion out of the entire book, the whole book of Esther, the entire 10 chapters, and find out, her. And I think a lot of her humility came from the fact, she didn't have anything. So I'm going to go there, because I'm not even going to discuss how the opposite of humility, which is pride, how that can rise up and break a person down. So I'm not even going to go there, because pride actually, when it gets in the way of relationships, it's a terrible poison. So I had to help myself just to get on here tonight. With that said, I am going to let you guys think on that. Have a wonderful evening, and catch you guys next time. Have a good night, everybody.